Oh, seeing that Clodsire. That's adorable. Hello, chat. Welcome to Under the Tea, where the tea has been spilled all over the place. Some things have changed last minute, and I'm gonna let Mizu. But Lumi will be here soon. She is running a little bit late, but I'm gonna let Mizu explain what is gonna happen tonight while I turn down my TV.
Okay, so tonight, wait, let me fix my mic.
Fix your mic.
Tonight
yes.
we were originally going to talk about the Torakaru situation. Notice I said we originally were. However, we have decided as a collective not to do that. And I will 100% take the blame for anything posted to the Twitter related to the issue. I have no problem taking the blame.
So yeah, so basically, we were going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it anymore. And yeah.
It got out of hand. But that is typically how it goes with VTweeters.
Yes.
I am not admitting wrongdoing at all.
No.
I am just taking the blame for what I said, and I am maintaining my opinion.
Pretty much. And I will say as well, the things that I tweeted on my account, and I will say that anything posted on the Under the Tea account was not posted by me.
Nope.
But it was approved by me. I will say it was approved. All of the tweets we all collectively approve of, but I did not message them. What I will say, anything that I posted on my account, I still maintain. And but yeah, and I did notice we privated the account. Did we actually private the account?
I did private the account.
Why did we do that?
It's typically just better to leave it that way for a little bit.
Fair enough. But yeah. I will say, chat. Twitter is a funny place. And I will also say that I take responsibility for the fact that I have been very heated the last couple of days.
I do have to, because this is one thing I will say about the situation, because it's already been brought up in chat.
Yeah.
Regardless of your opinions on this situation about Torakaru, this is not a long pattern of sexual assault. This is one kiss on the cheek. This is it. That is the only allegation that has actually been made about sexual assault.
In
we
person.
Can't pretend, just in general. We can't pretend like this is a long-standing pattern with a pile of victims behind it. This is one person alleging one kiss on the cheek that they allege after the fact was non-consensual. Stop pretending like this is this massive pile of victims we're all discounting.
Yes.
Is literally one person with one incident. Nothing else.
Pretty much.
You can believe that is sexual assault. I am telling you that's wrong. Weren't there others calling him out, though? There were others claiming he messaged them lewd messages.
And I will say right now...
But all of the tweets they provided show that they messaged lewd messages back. What they're claiming is that because of this new allegation, now that's totally proof that the messages sent to them was a problem. Also, chat, I need to explain this to you guys. You are correct that a touch, depending on where it is, without consent, can be sexual assault. A singular kiss on the cheek, when someone thinks they have consent and you have not made it clear they don't, is not sexual assault or sexual harassment. I'm sorry. That's...
I will say this one thing, and you can stop me if I need to.
I do want to address this quick.
Okay.
Because we have somebody in chat saying that we spread revenge porn and played Smash or Pass with it. It's just made up. This is what we're talking about.
Wait. Who are they talking about?
I recognize y'all. I remember when your friends spread revenge porn and y'all played Smash or Pass. Great stream there. Like, that's what we're talking about.
I've only played Smash or Pass with Warframe. What the fuck?
People got mad at us for this take, and they just started making shit up. And the only reason we, like...
Yeah, chat, if you can't chill, if you start being mean to people, my mod will mute you. I don't care if you're here, if you're upset or not. Be civil or be removed. This is our space where we can talk, and we ask that you obey the rules. Obey or be muted.
Hearts, you have gotten a 5-minute timeout. You can't do that.
No. No. Again, you can be critical, and we welcome criticism. This stream tonight is going to be us being, we are okay with criticism. There's criticism that I have gotten. Some of it I'm okay with, some of it not. But you must be civil. If you cannot be civil, you cannot be here.
But yeah, like, I completely take any blame for anything I said. However, factually speaking, a single kiss on the cheek is not sexual assault. There has to be greater context to it, and there just isn't.
Yeah, and
people can be mad about that all they want, but it's just kind of the truth, and that's all we're gonna say about that.
I again, I will also say as well, and again, you can stop me if I need to, but if you are on the same couch as the person that you claim assaulted you before, after reading that thing, after reading the whole thing, I will say, if you are uncomfortable with your abuser, and I say this as somebody who has been abused in their own way, you do not sleep on the couch with them, okay? Please, don't sleep on the couch with them. If you're upset with them, find a hotel, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. All right?
Also, this is gonna have to be brought up because multiple people are in the chat about this. There's a lot of people coming from Empress Dawn. Look, Dawn, I've tried to be nice to you, and I've tried to, like, even keep Oka down a little bit.
Yes, multiple times.
Dawn, you have to, like, get your people to stop. You can't just keep pushing this just because you're mad at Oka. It's genuinely just kind of harassment at this point, and it is targeted. You're constantly posting about it in Discord and, like, sending people to go harass us. It's not cool, Dawn.
I will say right here and now, since they're being brought up, I'm sorry if you're upset that I posted things from a public server. I'm sorry that my opinions are harsh. I am a very black and white person. That's and I won't blame the autism on that, but I will say that that is an autistic trait. But if you are upset that I downplay situations, don't bring Dawn into this. Well, why are you here then? I'm sorry. Like, listen, if you don't want me to talk about Dawn, stop messaging me about Dawn and tell Dawn to stop talking about it. All right? I have not, like, legitimately, after Mizu Tard wrangled me on the Danganronpa stream, I pretty much was not going to talk about them. I was not. You are making it hard for me not to do it. So unless you want me to, calm it. Okay?
Okay, so we got to bring this up, chat. Where people talk about clear consent. That's not actually true. There's something called implied consent. And when you go to the courts and you say there was no consent, they're going to look at two things. They're going to look at the extremeness of the actions. So the more sexual an action, the more clear consent has to be. A hug does not require the same level of clear consent as sex. And that's something the courts are consider. A kiss on the cheek would be considered like such a small thing that you need the lowest level of nonverbal consent, and it will be considered adequate. The second thing is a reasonableness standard. So this is one reason why sometimes it can be hard when things are like in a domestic case where two people are married, because you have to come up with a reason why consent would not have been implied by the other person. So in this situation, this person met up with someone to have sex. They didn't end up having sex, but they met up with the express idea of having sex together, and they slept together on the same couch multiple nights in a row. So a court is going to look at both of those things. They're going to look at, they showed up to have sex with them, they slept in the same bed as them, and then all that happened was a kiss on the cheek.
Pretty much. Again,
Someone forcefully kissed you on the cheek, you wouldn't say anything, you got upset. If I was there to have sex with them, I probably wouldn't mind. That's something that like a lot of people forget in this situation. This isn't some random ass guy who pinned her down and kissed her on the cheek. This was somebody she had known for over a year who she met up specifically to have sex with.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people keep saying this thing about, well, there clearly wasn't any consent. And that's just because she says that.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this before I fuck off. If this is all about a single kiss on the cheek, y'all need help. It is. It's literally just that's all that happened. Quote, pinned down and got a kiss on the cheek. You say they were pinned on the couch and couldn't move. That's not true. He sat on her lap on the couch. You aren't the authority on what is or isn't assault?
No, the law is.
You can't say that and then you pretend you are. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
You guys keep saying we haven't read enough information or we don't understand enough. But then you just immediately say, but I am. I'm the expert in here. You're not the expert. I had somebody show up in my DMs that was so mad about me pointing out he wasn't an expert. He faked being a lawyer and then said you could revoke consent anytime after something was already done. That doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't even pass the smell test, guys.
Like, if you can revoke, like, this is, like, what terrifies me about this generation.
You think she'd be able to move his sitting on her? That's not the point. You guys are trying to make it like he pinned her down and forced her into this. He sat on her lap, gave her a kiss on the cheek, and then left. Nothing else happened. That's not forced sexual assault. And you guys demean actual sexual assault when you say shit like that.
I agree. People that actually suffer, people that actually go through issues. You know, I know a family member that was I can't say that on camera. I know a family member that was sexually abused by somebody. And
Wild Hearts, I have read the law. I'm sorry, you're just wrong.
Like, I have somebody who was sexually abused, and I know she was sexually abused.
Where's your evidence then? From her. She did a stream when she had to private because she said all of this. That's the problem. Sat on her lap and kissed her without consent. That's forced sexual thought. He thought he had consent. And by a reasonableness standard, he did have consent.
Again, if you are sleeping on the same couch as somebody that you are claiming that you already felt uncomfortable from,
I'm sorry, guys.
I'm sorry, I can't. I can't. I legit can't. I don't understand it. Please explain to me. Please explain to me how you can say that you wanted to meet, like, legit. You want to meet up for sex. Great. Everybody does that. I don't recommend it.
He himself said it was without consent. No, he apologized to her because she told him it was without consent, which is a completely different situation. There are literal SA survivors who don't agree with you. I'm an SA survivor. I don't agree with you guys. Here, I will tell, like, the full story of this, because I don't think people understand. When I was in high school, everybody always had to take gym class in high school. And I never liked it, because I was always, like, really shy about my body. I didn't like taking clothes off and all that. It's whatever. We had a guy, who I didn't know was gay at the time, but we had a gay guy in our class, and one day when everybody had left the room, I always took longer to change because I was like so scared of like changing in front of people, so I'd kind of wait for everyone to leave, and then I would start changing then. So he walks back in after everyone leaves, shoves me against a wall, and starts like stripping me, grabbing me, trying to like mess with my butt, all kinds of stuff like that. And I would kind of just push him off, I would hide, and then I would change after. And then this continued for like months. Fucking like months of this shit of him. He'd just wait for everyone to leave and then he'd assault me. And one day I finally took it to like the school principal and I was like, look, this dude every day does like all this shit to me. And like it really came to a head the other day when I was with one of my friends and he did it in front of my friend. And my friend can back me up that this guy is doing this to me. And then he goes, oh, well, that's just how gay guys flirt. Don't be like a homophobic bigot. I was like, no, that's not. Like, 3 of my friends are gay. None of them have ever tried to, like, do that to me. It's nothing to do with being gay. I don't want him touching me. And it took my mother coming in with a police officer and threatening to get a lawyer involved and, like, ruining this kid's life in order for him to even move me out of the class with him. They never even removed him. He still went to that school every year.
No one's listening to your stupid story. We could turn that right back on somebody. Like, literally, that is how...
See, that's all I want to show with a lot of these people. If I say a kiss on the cheek is not actual sexual assault, that's super problematic. And then I come in here, talk about how, like, somebody really, like, unequivocally sexually assaulted me for months. And they're like, I don't care. That's a stupid story. No one gives a shit. Like, nobody believes you guys.
No, listen, this is why Johnny Depp won, because nobody cares anymore. You people make people not care. All right, I want to believe people. Listen,
Hold up. Wildheart says you having that experience does not give you authority on anyone else's experience. You specifically, out of everybody in this chat, specifically said that because other people that had been sexually assaulted said I was wrong, that meant I was wrong. You can't take that back. You, by your own definition, said I have authority over this. This is my problem with all of you fucking people. You don't give a shit. You could care less if someone was ever sexually assaulted. It goes in one ear and out the fucking other. None of you care.
No.
You are only in this because it was an easy clout farm for you. That is and I have proven that through the Twitter conversations I showed. People continually said shit like, oh, you know, I wasn't going to bring this up because everything between me and him was consensual. But, you know, seeing all these other stories... It's repeated shit with you people. I hate all of you. I genuinely think you're bad people. I'm gonna hold down on that.
Sorry. I want to reiterate. I don't like Tora. I met him.
Can we consider the possibility it could have turned to SA if her friend had not walked into the room? No. We can't consider maybes. Because maybe means didn't happen. You can't ruin someone's life because of a maybe you made up in your head.
Yeah, listen, the law works in absolutes. When you call the police, they cannot think, oh, maybe they're joking.
Not even the law, just morally. I'm not gonna, like, morally nail someone to a cross because you said maybe they could have done something to me. Well, maybe they could have. Maybe they could have given you a batch of fucking cookies. Maybe they could have given you $1 million. It didn't happen, did it?
I need to clarify real quickly. We don't like Tora. I don't think that needs to be said. Tora is a shitty person, all right? I don't like the fact that he DM'd multiple people, led them on,
Shima, you're
and
not
sexted
my fan.
them.
Don't come in here and say you hate the entire chat. You're not gonna turn our fans against us.
No.
That's not how, like, people know what we're about. They've always known what they're about.
Okay, somebody's bringing up a law. I suck at pulling up laws, but let me attempt to pull up this law. Just clipping the deleted stream? Maybe we should. I know that somebody posted a copy of the VOD, but again, I think it doesn't need to be said. Tor is a shitty person, and I genuinely think he is better to have left the internet. I'm glad he's gone. You wanna know why I'm glad he's gone? Because even though he didn't do something, I kind of feel like maybe he would have. Alright? And I'm not saying that he's a good... I feel like it needs to be said, we don't think he's a good person. We've said it multiple times. But
also, just real quick, I'm going to be removing anybody that's like, oh, you just hate your chat then? No, like, you guys clearly aren't here in good faith, so you're gone. I'm sorry. Like, I'm kind of done with you guys. All you ever do is show up to, like, try and start shit. You've never cared.
The people you're removing?
Omega Mighty.
Omega and Shima.
Yeah.
Dawn's friends. Alright? Do you guys really want me to talk about it that badly? Do I need to pull up all of my screenshots? I really don't want to. Alright? Can I go on for just a moment? Just a moment.
Look, chat. I have read the document. I read it multiple times.
Same here.
I brought up specific parts of the document, and everybody just ignored that because they didn't like the specific parts.
Can I go off for a moment?
What? I'm getting rid of I Sin Pharaoh.
No, you're
wish
fine.
you guys a happy graduation.
Can I talk to you? Can I talk for real quick?
Like, I genuinely don't. Like, these people just showed up.
Oh, they're on
just to, like, start shit.
They're on a special Twitter space.
Yeah. That's the thing I'm stuck with. Anybody that's just in here to insult people, get rid of you. And people can say all they want about our thread. We never insulted anybody.
No.
We pointed out, with evidence, specific things people said. You both sound like stupid hicks. See, that's the shit you get removed for.
Like
I told you, none of the insult shit. Did you cover the took multiple substances? Haven't seen anyone talk about it. They haven't really given any evidence on what the substances were. And in a later stream, they kind of implied that the multiple substances was just their regular medication.
Chat, I'm asking, by the way, even if you are on our side, I'm asking that you don't insult. Like, legit. Even if you're here to watch us, if you insult, I am gonna have to time you out because that's not nice to anybody. Victims has leaked his location. So what I've seen, what I've heard, is that his city was doxxed, which... This is my problem with some people. Like,
I'm iffy on just leaking the city. I don't think it's good, but it's such a general location. Like, I just don't believe that mentioning the city is that big of a deal.
mm-hmm. I think we arguing with the chat really isn't profiting us. Mostly just because you cannot argue with people that have already made up their mind. And my personal opinion is he's gone. Great. I'm glad he's gone. Sounds like she was hurt by him. Sounds like she was hurt by him when he said, I didn't want to have sex with you. Which, I'll be honest, that sucks. It sucks when somebody agrees to do something with you and then they renege on it. It sounds like she had a lot of personal hurt from that. Unfortunately, because of the situation, I have a hard time believing things. I'm sorry if that makes me a horrible person. I'm sorry if that makes me a horrible person, that I have trouble believing people when for the past 5, 6, 7, hell, decade even at this point, women have lied about men and their lives have been ruined. And when it turns out that they are not guilty, their lives are still ruined. Okay? So I am sorry if I have trouble believing people. Okay? I really am. Because if I could, I would believe. I really would like to. I really would like to be I would like it to be as cutthroat and saying, this person did this, and it's easy for me to believe. But unfortunately, because of how things are, I can't.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm sorry, but I can't. All right? And if you came here, like, to try and get a gotcha, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not here to argue with anybody. All right? I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm not here to argue with the chat. All right? Our goal tonight originally was to talk about the drama behind how we reported things. And I will agree that we have gone harder than we would have previously liked to. And I will apologize for that. I do apologize for that because we should have... I'll be honest with you. The thing I apologize most for was how I started things on my Twitter. But beyond that, I don't know. I don't know. There is no way, like legit. I don't know what you guys want me to say. You're gonna hate me either way if I say I'm sorry for what I believe or I'm sorry, for what. But my personal belief is I can't believe anybody right now without cold hard evidence. And can't. If that makes me a horrible person, well, the dozens of people that came before you and also lied about men did that. And maybe if we were in another world, I would have agreed, but I just can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And honestly, sorry. Honestly, it's situations like this that kill entire generations of people. Okay? It kills entire generations of people where men are afraid that if we lived in a reality where you could withdraw consent even after having a good time with somebody, men would never approach women. Men aren't approaching.
Because I think we're basically about done.
Mm-hmm.
So the last thing I want to say, and then we'll cut it off completely, is one of the things people keep saying is you were insulting everyone who didn't like you calling a victim an abuser. I said that she was acting abusive because she was. And it wasn't just insulting everyone. We were legitimately being nice to people and giving them evidence and stuff.
Attempting to.
And then they would come back, like, somebody in chat mentioned one where I insulted somebody and said, I see why you stream on Kick and you only use other people's assets. Because they came in and said, oh, look at the 200 Twitter nobodies trying to talk about this issue. That's something that was repeatedly happening on the Twitter. Is people would sit down, they would viciously insult us. I would literally have people say, I'm going to dox you and I hope you die. And then I would reply to them negatively, and people would be like, why are you just slinging insults? What's wrong with you guys? You guys were legitimately supporting people sending death threats and then saying we were bad people for, like, insulting their Twitter viewer numbers in return. And you can, like, argue if it's a good or a bad thing to insult their Twitter viewer numbers, but you guys can't sit here and pretend like we were just mindlessly being mean to every person. Like, I'm sorry. That's how that was.
I just it's situations like this that kill entire generations, in my personal opinion. Because men and women, I will say and women too, because women will definitely experience this as well, will be afraid to get with each other because when people like this come out and say these things, and again, just to reiterate, I think Tora's a piece of shit. All right, all the sexting roleplay that he does, trying to lead girls on, and he did lead quite a lot of girls on. I don't like that. I'm glad he's gone, never to come back. I hope if he does, he'll be shamed off. I'll shame him too because he needs to be gone. But it's situations like this that will make people alone forever. Legitimately. And that's sad. It's really sad that we have a generation or two, maybe even three, that'll be afraid to interact with each other. So that's all I have to say. I mean, we're gonna cut it off here. If you're here to listen to us try and quote unquote defend, we're not going to anymore because we're done talking about it.
Yeah, the only last thing we'll add is I really hate that people kept saying, "Oh, you're defending Tora." Yeah, I'm defending Tora from things that were objectively false. Like one I had multiple people send me was that his partner was a minor, which if that's true, that's gross, but can somebody send me like literally anything that shows that? Because it's just not true. But we said in the original tweet, he's a sex pest. He sucks.
He does.
Like, get rid of him.
He does.
There was no defending him for it.
No, there's no defending him. There is just, please tell your story correctly. That's all I want. If you want to take a guy down, tell it correctly. If you can't tell it correctly, then there's something missing here.
Anyways, Oko, would you like to move on to your next thing?
Which one was that?
I don't know. You said you had a docket.
Well, I was assembling a docket.
Oh, you forgot to finish assembling it?
Well, we didn't get really a chance to finish talking about it, but no. We could talk about the lolly call, although I would like Lumi here for that.
Yeah, she's the only one that listened to it. I'm not listening to an 8-hour fucking call.
Yes. No, just...
That's just... I don't even know why Lumi listened to that much. Because I never heard anything good about it. I heard most people tuned out halfway through because it was just yelling and screaming.
Yeah, it was. It was just yelling and screaming. It's just yelling and screaming, and I don't know. That's the...
Lumi, hurry up and get in here.
8 hours. Well, it was more like 7.5, but yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I would say that if you want to listen to it, sure, but I really have to use the restroom. Can I be back in like 2 minutes?
You should have done it beforehand.
I didn't have to go beforehand. You know how much water I've been drinking? I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Fair. 8 hours, holy cow? Yes. For whatever reason, they decided to stream a debate that was a Twitter space for 8 hours. I believe it was open for anyone. What about that other guy who accused a guy of being a pedo for having a doggy? Okay, yeah. So there was some VTuber called Smoosh or Smunchified, something like that. Was dating this girl, and they went over to his house to have sex. and she saw a Dakimakaru of a lolly or something. I've seen a picture of the character. I don't know who it is. Genuinely not a single clue. And then after she went home, she called him a pedophile over like a document, and she cited the lolly body pillow. I like how Aka's motto looks while sleeping. That is, I think you can buy that for like $5. I don't remember where we bought it.
Actually,
I might look it up.
The one who did my model helped out with that.
Oh, I thought you got the same one, me and Lumi.
Yes.
Yes, chat. That one was about a Dakimakaru. It was. It's a funny read when you consider that like nothing happened.
See the PayPal stuff? Yes. Yes. We did see the PayPal stuff. The problem with the PayPal... See, here's the thing that I think people have to understand. Because of the Patriot Act, which was enacted after 9/11, the banks, which own all of the money in the world, basically, minus the stuff in a couple select countries, but all of the banks in the world, basically get to dictate who gets to buy and sell. And the guys at the top of these banks, this is something not a lot of people know, but the guys at the tops of these banks have a major control on who gets to do what. And one of the things that the guys at the top of the banks don't like is not safe for work content. Shocker, the people that hold the money in the world are very Christian and believe that not safe for work content is a no-go, period. And so because of that, when a payment processor tells websites to scrub, and talked about this back when the Tumblr stuff was happening, but when a payment processor tells a website, get rid of your lewd content or we're dumping you, it is because one of the big banks says, we don't like that. Okay? And that is the case pretty much every single time. Every single time a place has been asked to get rid of their not safe for work content, that is the reason. The banks control who gets to make money and who gets to shift money around. So because of that, it is going to be increasingly harder for not safe for work creators moving forward. More progressive and liberal, they don't care. Listen, and this is the thing that like...
The people that own the banks are very not progressive and liberal.
No, that's the thing that people forget.
It's a cultural divide. No, what do you call it? You call it a generational divide,
It is a generational divide. Yes.
So all the really old people that run banks and are big executives really don't like porn.
No, not at all.
All the young people that pay for everything really like porn. Like, probably a little too much. So you kind of end up in this situation where there's a huge market for something, but there's nobody, like, willing to be the middleman for it. And I've brought this up before, but I think at the end of the day, we might be reaching a point where the only way to actually have not safe for work purchases be fine is FedNow, which, if those of you who don't know, the government wanted to invent their own payment processor called FedNow. PayPal is the messenger for the banks? No. So PayPal is owned, by MasterCard. It's owned by one of the big payment processors. So PayPal already had like a mandate handed down to them where they were told they had to do this stuff. And then they passed down that message to people underneath them because they're more in like that middle generation where they don't care, but they would like money.
Mm-hmm. Stripe is one? Yes.
Stripe is the big one.
Stripe
and MasterCard, I think, are like 98% of all purchases. I think, something like that.
Something like that.
Like 90% of all money goes between two businesses, technically.
Mm-hmm. Two businesses own all your money. And I'm afraid eventually one business is going to own all your money. Used to be 3. One bought the other. That's crazy, am I right?
The problem with Zelle and Cash App is you still have to go through like a bigger company, and a lot of bigger companies are not going to use something like Zelle or Cash App. Like Amazon or something like that. They're not going to take your Zelle or your Cash App. They're going to want a pay. It's lucky that they take PayPal, because a lot of people didn't take PayPal for the longest time, and it was I don't even know how PayPal ended up taking off, because nobody would take it for like forever. Maybe Zelle and Cash App can take off like that one day. I don't know. Monopoly's one hell of a game. I mean, kind of, yeah. It's all like one big game of Monopoly. This is a completely random side tangent, chat. I sat down one day and read through the Monopoly rulebook because I was told by someone that the Monopoly rulebook was ridiculous. It's the Monopoly rulebook is like literally an actual book, like a legitimate book's worth of rules, just pages and pages of it, and it's got like some wild stuff in it. But if you read it, I think the suggested time limit for a Monopoly game is like literally 3 days or something ridiculous. You're expected to set it up on like a free table in your house, and you come back every night and just do more of it. And it's bizarre. Pokemon is hiring a DEI consultant. I did see that.
I did see that, yeah. I did see that. Pokemon is dead. Pokemon's been dead. Listen, I think that the writing should have been on the wall when Power World came out. The fact that Power World got as popular as it did, excuse me, is a sign that I think Pokemon, like, and I will still be happy for people that still enjoy the games. Like, my boyfriend still enjoys the games. But I am not surprised that that Pokemon is in the spot it's in, because they just don't care. They just don't care about it. I feel like most people can see that besides this Clodsire, there's just not a lot that like makes it interesting anymore. And they haven't innovated, and their system, the way that they do it sucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but Pokemon sucks now. And
yeah,
them hiring a DEI consultant just makes it.
I think the more interesting
worse.
thing is their DEI consultant, I think, is going to be making $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
I don't really know what they're gonna do necessarily.
You know how much? So much money.
Pokemon still vastly outsells Power World. I think the reason Pokemon will never die, even though people think it is because Pokemon has never capitalized on keeping a fan base, even though it has all these years. Pokemon primarily focuses on getting new fans from kids, which people can talk about whatever they want. At the end of the day, Pokemon is a game for kids. I'm not saying that they should be as lazy as they are, because they are just factually probably one of the laziest AAA companies in the world, in my opinion. But they do make games for kids. So all they have to make sure is that the next generation of like, 10, 11-year-olds is going to want to play Pokemon. The only thing that will ever kill Pokemon is if they can't make a move to tablets, because I think the next generation is very heavily tableted. I don't know how much longer, actual consoles is going to continue.
Yeah, on the topic of Pokemon and just shit games, one thing that I've can I just praise Helldivers for a moment?
Yeah, fine, go for it.
Okay, so Helldivers is a really fantastic game, by the way. If you haven't played it, it's not sponsored. People be pissed if we were sponsored, but Helldivers is a fantastic game. For $40, you get quite a lot of stuff. Free updates forever. You can earn the battle pass. Like, the amount of games that allow you to earn the premium currency. I've only ever really seen like 3 or 4 of them that are like that. That is reasonable enough. So I think a lot of people can get doomered or upset about gaming, but I'm not. I'm really not. I think there's a lot of examples, especially with the Sweet Baby Ink stuff going on, that gamers care. Gamers care a lot more than they used to back in 2013, 2014. And because of that, I think that there is going to be actual lasting change. And Helldivers is and should be the standard, in my opinion. And I think we should be praising it because of that. I think we should be praising it because of that. So, but yeah, it's a great game. It's a great game.
Speaking of that, people are posting the Helldivers not safe for work places.
Oh, there it went like in our chat
The
or
big booty chargers.
Oh my gosh, yes, I have seen it. It's good stuff.
Helldivers 2 when I get a strong enough PC, which I'm getting this year. I always recommend this to people because this is becoming more and more common in games. Look up if a game has, God, what do you call it? It's basically where it upscales stuff. It doesn't look very good. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like it's the nicest looking thing ever. But if you not like nerf your resolution on a game and you do the upscaling, I think it looks plenty passable, and it adds way more processing power to like an older computer than would be normal. So you have to think about like basically all your computer is running is tied to the resolution to a degree. So if you have the resolution of your screen, you're basically like doubling your processing power. That's not exactly how it works, but that's like a cheap, easy explanation I think someone who might not be computer literate could probably understand. So a lot of games now have been added, like adding an upscaling system to where they can upscale the resolution to sort of look like it's 1080p. It's a little fuzzy, obviously, and it's a little rough around the edges. But it does allow you to play more resource-intensive games with lower, not as good systems. So I would recommend that. Always check if a game has it. Maybe one of these days I'll go back and I'll look at what it's actually called. But I think that's the best way.
Indeed, indeed.
Any thoughts on that?
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm holding my tongue.
As you should.
Because I'm so nice. I'm so nice, chat. That's a lie. That's a lie. I will, I'll be straightforward. I am a blunt person sometimes. I'm fine with admitting that. But I'd rather be blunt to people that I like than lie to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather be and I really do appreciate how blunt you've been with me.
You're welcome.
Because Chad, I'll be honest. Not a perfect person, but I do try and make sure that if there is course correction that is appropriate, at least Mizu gets to tell me. Mizu's pretty good at it. Oh, goodness. Do you want to talk about the VTuber that got canceled for her opinions?
Or the cub person?
Yeah, the cub person.
You can know more about that. I really don't know,
Okay.
Dick.
Okay.
About what is it, the racist immigrant hater?
Yes, the absolutely horrible racist immigrant hater. That is Cubby Bear. Shout out if you're in chat, by the way. So, I don't have a screenshot. I'm looking for them while I talk about this. But there was a VTuber that made a very innocuous post, and in my opinion, this post, like many posts, I don't think she intended for this to blow up as much as it did. And I will say, here's my opinion. And I'm going to try and echo this opinion continuously because I think it's important. Don't talk about politics on Twitter.
Politics never helps anybody.
No.
And by default, some people used to say when you talk about politics, you by default alienate half of an audience. That's not true. You alienate something like 70-80% of an audience.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because, yes, in politics, typically it's very much like 50-50 Republican Democrat, at least in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess you could say conservative progressive, whatever you want to call it. But a tiny fraction of people actually care about politics. So
yes.
You're not looking at 50-50 conservative progressive. You're looking more like 10% conservative progressive. So by talking about politics at all, you have cut out like some 70-80% of people that just don't want to talk about politics. And then now you are trying to appeal to like 10% one side, 10% the other side. I'm not saying that can't work, but
you want to be a vouch, go ahead.
When you talk about politics, that's all you're allowed to do.
Yes.
I've seen it in the past. You can get big talking about politics. You can run like a channel doing nothing but politics. But the problem is, if you talk about anything other than politics, nobody wants to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nobody
can talk
cares.
about it. Perfect. We are going to talk about it. I am going to talk about it.
We could would we want to bring in Cubby? Just to have them like chit chat?
Cubby, do you want to talk about your drama? Do you have a 2D model? I can put your picture on the screen.
I mean, we could do like the little Fuji Tech thing.
Yeah, we might just want to get their picture on the screen.
Would you like to, or are you just taking a chill night?
Yeah, we can do that. But let me just kind of preamble this by saying again, don't talk about politics. All right, I've had to hold myself back from talking about politics. You can believe it. I have to hold myself back because there are something. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Here, hold on, chat. Hold on.
I have actively made sure Oka doesn't talk about politics because I hate politics.
Yes.
When I was a wee fish, I was a politics obsessed snob.
Yes.
And as I got older, I was like, this is not fun.
I can't believe I waited an hour to start the music chat. You can get upset at me. No, but don't talk about politics because, like Mizu said, 9 out of 10 people really don't give a shit about politics. Hey, let me tell you what people care about. All right, they care about their gas, they care about their groceries, they care about the ability to feed their families and continue on living. If you impede that, they will give a fuck. All right. With that being said, those people also don't exist. If you're on Twitter, that people care a lot, which is why I just don't say anything. My politics I have none for the most part, but it's not worth talking about. But Cub Plushie, I almost said Pushy. It's Cub Plushie. Made here.
You working on it?
Yeah, I'm working.
You almost got it.
I almost got it. She made this tweet. and I will quote it. This is a quote. Quote, at Cub Plushie, whoever voted for Biden is a literal dumbass. Now immigrants are roaming our streets with zero identification and, I'm not going to say that, murdering people. Y'all disgust me to no end supporting this guy, and y'all wonder why Trump wanted the wall up. Now, agree or disagree with that. People got upset. A lot of people got upset. Like, legit, while our whole thing was going on, Cub Plushie was having their own day. And, like, everybody was, like, saying, if you follow Cub Plushie, block me right now. Let me tell you, as somebody who came from the roleplay sphere, I get really tired of people saying that. Really, really, really tired of people saying that, because it's just like, bro, you can just move on. Block them and move on. Alright? This whole thing of if you...
Okay, make your thoughts. Use your big girl words.
I'm sorry. I don't know. If you... I can't even remember what I was gonna say. Anyway, the moral of this... the thing that I was gonna say is, these people... were upset with her. I talked to her because I thought that she was being unfairly ridiculed. I do think she could have worded some things better. Well, I'll be honest with you, I just wouldn't have said anything. But if I would have to say anything, I would not have just said immigrants. I think a lot of people pointed that out, and I'm pretty sure she even said that what my intention wasn't like legal and illegal immigrants. I think her intention was people that are coming across the border that we don't know who they are, where they're going. And again, I'm not going to speak on that issue because it's politics. But she got a lot of hate, and I personally think that the moral of the story is just don't talk about politics on Twitter. But it did help me to sit back and realize just how few people are critical thinkers. Because Mizu, you and I have talked about this before. Oh, thank you, Mizu. I'm gonna have to download that. Thank you.
Always the download.
Always. Mizu, you and I have talked about this a lot. Twitter is just so done. It is so freaking done. And I think that in some ways, and this isn't me just like being oh, I'm giving up kind of shit. This is me legit saying I have wanted to leave Twitter. But not for the reasons of like, oh, I'm getting harassed or anything. I've wanted to leave Twitter just because it is so mind-numbing that I feel like I am dying on the inside with it.
Every day. Every
day. Like, Mizu's been suspended from Twitter. And I feel like he has been happier.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like
also,
Mizu is happier.
I'd like to point out, because a lot of people bring this up, and they say I've been ban evading like 20 times over. Every time I've gotten my account back. So it's been the same account every time. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I'm bringing Cubby in. You good?
Yes, I need to hide Lumi's at... Sorry, Lumi, she's gonna take over your spot just for today.
Hi, Cubby.
Hello, Cubby. You were on Under the Tea.
Hello.
Hello.
Occo's gonna have to set up your little picture thingy.
Your picture is set up, but I have to hide the link so it doesn't look bad. It's already bad. But how are you doing today?
Good. How are you? I
am all right.
So, Cubby, it says here on Twitter that you are a racist and you hate immigrants. Would you like to respond to that?
Oh, you can't forget that I'm also Adolf Hitler.
I didn't see that one, but thank you for clarifying.
Are you Adolf? Are you emanating Hitler particles? That is a question that people often like throw at others. Are you emanating Hitler particles?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay. Do you know what that means?
I don't.
It's basically. It's basically.
Who was it that said that like people could emanate Hitler particles? I forget who that was.
I can't remember who specifically said it, but Hitler particles are just like. Oh, it's hard to explain, but it's basically just another way of calling somebody Hitler. I'll be honest with you.
But it's like you can turn other people into him as well.
Pretty much.
By like
So,
being near them, you emanate it.
Oh, okay.
By your tweet alone, your horrible racist tweet alone, you are turning people into mini Hitlers. Is what people are claiming.
Apparently so, but the funny thing is I haven't gotten any hate DMs. And then people are like, "Oh, you probably blocked everyone." I'm like, "Yeah, I pre-blocked everyone that was gonna interact with the tweet." That makes no sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
You were psychic.
I know. I had no hate DMs. All the DMs have been like VTubers saying, "Oh, I agree with you, but I'm just too afraid to like retweet it or interact with it because I don't want to get canceled or I don't want any hate."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could have reworded it differently. Yeah, I'm aware of that. But like, it is what it is, I guess.
Hold on a moment. Sorry, my brain is just...
You're fine.
It's been a long night, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
you haven't gotten any hate DMs though, and all you're getting is just people on the TL bothering you, saying that you're racist.
Yeah, but they won't interact with me personally.
But they won't interact with me. No, yeah, I agree. See,
I've seen a bunch.
You're just like retweeting and quote tweeting it just to be like, "Oh yeah, this person's so bad, I'm gonna go on the bandwagon with it."
Mm-hmm. Now,
so
when I messaged you, first I said that you were fun. I basically said that you were funny. And then you were like, "Oh, I hate VTubers," and I'm like, "Me too."
I do. I hate the community.
The community sucks so much.
It's terrible.
Now, I do agree. Although I think what you hate is mostly just the Twitter community. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, 99% of VTubers off Twitter that actually make content, because to be completely honest with you, the ones that make content seem to be better than others.
Right.
But I do agree that most VTubers on Twitter, the ones that just don't make content and just scream all day, those are the ones to be upset at, because like, do they have anything better to do with their lives than just like... What's funny is they will say that we're terminally online, but I'm pretty sure, just judging off of what you've said, you probably have a full-time job. You probably have full-time responsibilities with other people
Yes.
in your life, and you probably don't get to stream a whole lot in general. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, VTubing isn't my career, so I really don't give two fucks about quote-unquote cancellation.
No, I agree. And again, just to reiterate, I have a major problem with Twitter, and just how people just act there, and I'm honestly not quite sure how it got to the place that it did, where people just like are in a bubble of regurgitated ideas, thoughts, and opinions, and they just feel like if they don't get their way, they can scream all the time. Because like, I'm willing to sit down and actually have a discussion with somebody, whether or not I agree or disagree with you on your points. I think it's better to sit down instead of just saying, if you follow that person in 24 hours, I'm blocking all of you. It's like holding your friendship on... See, in my opinion, those aren't real friends. If someone has to come to me, and again, I experienced this a lot in the VTuber community, or excuse me, in the Twitter roleplay community, when I did Twitter roleplay, a lot of these people would approach me in DM. Sometimes when I followed somebody that I didn't know anything about, they're like, if you don't unfollow this person, I'm going to tell all of the people in your life just how horrible you are. And it's just like, well, why? Why can't I, like, what the fuck?
The thing that's funny with that is, like, someone could say something political or something about the LGBTQ community that they don't agree with and run with that and say, oh, they're such a terrible person. They're so fucking bad. They're racist. They're homophobic, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if you don't agree with everything that goes on in this world, you're wrong. That's what it seems like.
Oh, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And like I mentioned, if it wasn't for the fact that Twitter was somewhat useful, chat, I will be 100% honest. I hate Twitter so much that I will only stick around because it is a way to interact with my fans. And because there are some genuinely nice people there. But if I didn't have to, I wouldn't be on Twitter. I wouldn't be there at all. Because it's not worth it. and again, I'm not saying that as like, oh, I want to run away from criticism. No, if people want to criticize me, listen, I'm a stupid idiot. All right, there's plenty of it from this week where, excuse me, I could have been a lot more tactful with how I was. But Twitter is such a cesspool that a mild, in my opinion, listen. Again, not political. I feel like your take is way more mild than some of the other people I see on Twitter, all right? Way more mild, okay? Your take is just, I don't feel... Basically, what I got from your take was, I don't feel safe with what I see. And I feel like people dogged on you so much harder than they needed to. And it just doesn't feel deserved.
People are just gonna be keyboard warriors and just go at it on Twitter instead of like DMing you.
Yeah.
I've had people like come in my DMs asking like, oh, can you explain what you mean by this? Like an adult conversation. Obviously these are like Gen Z kids, like
a lot of them
18-year-olds. They're just running with whatever someone else is saying because they don't want to stop supporting them.
A lot of them are, and it's really sad. Like, oh my gosh, if I could snap all of the children off of Twitter so that they had to live their lives normally, go outside and play, ride their bikes, play with Legos or blocks or whatever kids do these days. If I could get rid of the internet for all kids, I would, because I think that they would grow up in a much better, much nicer environment. And so it makes me sad, and it makes me worried about, because like, I'm one of those people that's like, I want the world that I live in to be better for the people that come after me. But now I'm like, is that even worth doing now? Is it even worth trying to save the world for the next generation? Because the next generation doesn't give a fuck, period.
No.
No.
Just like someone tried to cancel me because I said retard. I'm like, you are not a millennial. Like, back then, that word was just like, you're stupid. It's not even being like derogatory.
Yeah, fun fact, chat. My mom told me, chat, you can cancel my mom. She doesn't care. But my mom would say, "Hey, child, don't be acting retarded." All right, this is my story for that word, chat. This is my story for that. When I was young, my mom would say, "Hey, don't be a retard." And I went to church. I was in Sunday school. And these kids were acting up, all right? I was like a preteen, I want to say 13 or 14 at that point. And they were acting really stupid. And I said, "Hey, stop acting retarded." The teacher looked at me as if I had shot somebody. I was like, what? My mom says that about me all the time. My mom had
Back then it was just a word, like, stop being stupid.
Yeah, and that's what it means. And the funny thing is, I know people like outside of Twitter in real life, like on the job, people that work in the dirt, that build your houses, that make sure your stuff gets to you. You know, when you order stuff, I know people that deliver your stuff. They all use this word, and nobody cares. The only people that care are the people on Twitter. That's legit the only people I've seen care, because everybody else, like, obviously there's a respect thing with it. All right, I'm not gonna go out and just randomly call people retard. All right, I'm not gonna call people that. That's not fair. But like, if you're being really, really, like, supremely stupid on the internet, all right, I might say, man, that's fucking retarded, man. All right, and if people are upset with me, go ahead, be upset with me. I'm autistic. I feel like I get to have that word, all right? All right? I've had a lot of people that say that they don't care. I personally don't care. So,
I would tell him to just cry about it.
Go.
I don't give a fuck.
Well,
I don't.
I don't either, and I just... It's our word. It's my word.
Reclaimed it.
I reclaimed it, yes. Jazz says I can reclaim it.
I don't know, I just always think of the Boondocks clip where they get mad at him for calling someone gay.
Mm-hmm.
And he just says, gay is gay. I saw gay, so I said gay. Not offensive, it's an astute
It's
observation.
an astute observation. Yeah.
Like, I think people need to understand there is a line between I called you a retard because I hate mentally disabled people, and I called you a retard because you just did something really stupid, and that's the first word that came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another really good one is there's an episode in South Park where they're calling people fags.
Yes, I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And they're like, so why are you calling like gay people fags? It's like, we're not. Like, well, what do you think when you see like a douchebag going down the street on his motorcycle with really loud, really boisterous and whatever?
Mm-hmm.
You think, oh, he's a fag. And by that, you don't think, oh, well, this guy's a homosexual. You think, oh, this guy's really dumb and annoying and I don't like him.
Exactly. Everybody, listen. Everybody thinks that. You cannot tell me you don't think that, because everybody thinks that. All right? You may not say it, but you think that. Great
Unfortunately,
episode.
this generation didn't grow up to South Park and all that like we did. Like, that was our humor. I don't know
No,
if you
they
guys are,
did, but they for
that's
some
how I
reason
grew
they
up.
think Cartman is like a progressive icon.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen all the fucking fan cams of Cartman's, like, Cartman would say trans rights. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm. No, I just... I'm sad for this generation. And maybe that's a boomerish thing to say. I don't know. But I'm really sad with how everybody's like, oh, you hurt my feelings. You're invalidating my experiences. And it's like, no. I'm a human. Humans live in reality. The reality is you need to pucker up, sucker up, and get to work. And if you're not willing to, the world will eat you. Sorry. Not sorry. If you're not willing to live in reality, go back to your Discord where your 10 to 20 people will all be nice with you. But my opinion is live in reality. And the reality sucks.
Yep.
I'm trying to make it better by doing my own thing, all right? I have a...
You're never gonna please everybody, so...
No, I'm not. And listen, my job isn't to... Listen, if my job was to please everybody, I wouldn't be on this podcast. Period. I wouldn't be on this podcast. I'd be the most paused, most milquetoast VTuber that's just like, oh, guys, we're here to have a good time and everybody has to be nice to each other. It's like, no! I understand that people have differences. I understand that not everybody's gonna like me, and that's fine. I am fine with people not liking me. Hell, I am more happy knowing that people don't like me on Twitter, and happier knowing that there are genuine people that exist, that go out, break their backs to work in the sun so that they can continue feeding their families, and that they may occasionally turn me on so that they can watch me play Warframe or whatever I do. I take great pleasure in knowing that some people are happy with that. But if you can't live in reality, if you can't do the bare minimum to survive, sorry, I don't care. And I'm gonna continue not to care. Sorry. Getting watch partied? I heard. Tell Ray I said hi. Hi, Ray. I want to join MommaOcco's Discord. We have a Discord.
We have a podcast Discord. We don't have, like, individuals.
Twitter freaks hate us. We're doing it right. See, again, I just don't care. All right? I don't care if you don't like my opinion, because I don't like yours, and that's okay. It's okay that we disagree.
Back into it.
Sorry.
It's called an
You
opinion
gotta
for a
keep moving
reason.
forward.
Sorry. Move us forward. I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have anything. It's been other than the one thing, it was a slow week.
It was.
For the most. Everybody was, like, stuck up on one thing.
Mm-hmm. Pretty
I
much.
will say, because like this is last week's thing or the week before, I forget when. But yes, the person watch partying is called Abysmal Ray. We had her on the podcast. We offered to give her a platform to talk about her issues with, God, what was it? It was Fillion that week, wasn't it?
Oh, what are we talking about? Sorry, I spaced out for a moment.
Abysmal Ray, the girl we had on.
Oh, you want to
she
talk about
was-
Ray? Okay. Yeah.
But she's the one watching.
Yes. Hi,
So,
Ray.
I would like her chat to know that she came here willingly.
She did.
She was interviewed.
Willingly.
This is not a collab.
I will not show our DMs unless she is okay with it, but she willingly accepted this. I warned her multiple times. People will dog you. People will be upset at you. People will have things that are not nice to say, and she said, I am okay with that. All right?
Yep.
Now, I will 100% admit the only mistake I made was inviting her. All right?
Yeah.
I made that mistake. I was the one who was like, hey, you want to come on and defend it? It was a bad idea. Want to know why it was a bad idea? She
We all
couldn't
made
defend it.
fun of Akko for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And the
They-
thing
both
is,
of them did.
she ended up agreeing with everything we said about her. The only one she wouldn't let go of was Fillion's used AI before, so that makes Fillion a bad person. And it kept looping around to that. And I was like, look, I've told this to artists before. I understand your opinions on AI. I understand why you think AI is bad, but you have to have like some level of optics.
Yes.
You can't just run around saying, because like a normal person that is not involved in like art or the creative sphere typically doesn't make like a huge distinction between how a piece of art was made. They just like, does it look pretty or not? So you have to convince them about why art matters more than looks.
Mhm.
Because they're your audience. They do pay for your art. It's very important to get them on your side. If you just run around screaming at people who are making AI pieces that they're like scumbags and they're evil and they're all this, that works with other artists, and that works sometimes with people who are already on your side a little bit. That doesn't work with anybody that's in the middle.
No.
It's really pushing them away from your side, and I don't think that's good. I want like artists to have like a better platform
Yeah,
to discuss their things.
I will say,
And they're not helping themselves.
I agree. I will say, on that vein, like artists, real talk here. All right. You make it impossible sometimes to root for you. I am a huge believer in not using AI for my things. I believe in using it for references. My official artist, I have used references multiple times to say, make this, but your way, because I believe in real artists. I believe in using real art. I believe in championing people, because I don't believe that just like when Will Smith said that robots can't create, I don't believe that they can truly create. I believe that they can only be fed and asked to regurgitate. All right? With that being said, you do not help yourself the way that you act. All right? If the way that I have seen some people act shows me that they don't know how to run a business, that they don't know how to be optically correct, that they do not know how to have a conversation. All right? If you want to have a conversation, good. But if you're just willing to scream and dig your heels in and say that you're not willing to do something, you're not willing to grow, you're no better than the people that got upset when computers were introduced and computer art was introduced. I don't think a lot of people know this, but when computers first came in and you could draw on the computer, regular painters and artists were not happy about that because they had to learn something new. And so I feel the exact same thing is happening again, only on a worse scale. Again, I don't like AI. I would prefer humans. But if this is how artists are going to act, instead of evolving their art or evolving what they do to outcompete the AI, you will be left behind. And I do not say that in a malicious way. I say that in a take note. You will be left behind if you do not evolve with the times. Do not dig your heels in, walk forward, and do better. That's it.
And then the other thing I will say, because she's watching and this is a friendly message to her that has nothing to do with anything else. But I think it's probably good that her followers know this. Please stop supporting Sylvie Spark. He is an actual, like, I don't want to say the word because people in our chat made clear last time that they are sensitive to that word. He has actively defended people that have R-worded people. Because he thought that person was a friend, so he thought that, you know, maybe the R word was just a little bump in the road of their friendship. That's... You cannot like us, don't defend him. Like, what he did was super fucked up, and it's been super fucked up.
Oh, pretty much. Like, ask anybody else. Ask anybody else, please. Don't ask the guy that I'm not. Just use somebody that is actually principled and not somebody that is malicious and yeah, don't.
Yeah, like you could, or just don't use anyone. Just like, if he says something, look up the information yourself and use the information. People need to stop trying to rehab his image for him. Because the stuff he's done is legitimately some of the worst stuff I've seen. Next to when we talked about Poppy and him assaulting his girlfriend, I think he's worse than Sylvie because he actually did it to a person, whereas Sylvie was just defending a person who did it. No, chat, we're not gonna say that. We don't make any accusations without like some level of proof to it. But he is just in general a bad person.
Pretty much.
Convicted? If he's convicted, you can send that to me, and I'll read through it. I've never heard of that. I'm sorry. Chat mentions it, though. A lot of anime studios are starting to use AI translation, which that was just gonna happen.
Yes. I will say, again, I would prefer that a human does it, but the humans that are all doing it can't do their job.
Yes.
And that is an argument.
The thing is, it's come up multiple times in interviews with a lot of the Japanese creators, where they'll specifically say, look, the reason we're doing this is because somebody actually showed us, like, translated what they did with our work, and they butchered the shit out of it, and we don't approve of that. Because this isn't always the case for, like, larger Japanese companies, but typically on an individual scale, especially among creatives, Japanese people have a very, like, I don't know what the word would be. They take a lot of pride in what they make. So they don't like it when it's misrepresented to people. And on, like, an individual scale, they get very upset.
Pretty much.
So when you have a company localizing or publishing stuff out that is on a smaller scale, owned by a creator themselves, or has a creator within them that has a lot more pull, they typically tend to get very upset. I think a semi-good example is a lot of people tried to say that the Netflix Cowboy Bebop was approved by the original director of Cowboy Bebop, but about halfway through it, when he realized they weren't listening to him and he didn't actually have any rights over it, he left, and he didn't want anything to do with the project anymore. He was very much not happy with how it went.
Yeah, so I don't want AI translations.
On all the AI stuff?
Oh, I'm just, like, listening. For me, I don't see it being a problem, but I can understand from an artist's point of view, them being upset about it. I think if someone uses it, they should be able to use it without getting hate for it.
Fair.
I agree. I think it's how it's used. I really do. Like, I really think that how you use the, like, if people are using the AI, they can't, obviously, I don't think they should be able to sell from it, because if it's trained off of somebody else's work, technically that's not yours. And if the courts, like the problem is this uncharted territory. So because of that, it's really hard to kind of figure out where it was going to go. But in general, I don't think they should profit off of it. Yeah. But when it comes to the AI translations, pretty much the same as with the AI art. I don't want it. I don't want it. But
Real quick, VTB, if you want to comment, just go into our Discord and DM me, MizuhanaOshibe. But we're not gonna talk about it on the stream.
pretty much. Ray's asking to mass report. Well, that is targeted harassment.
Oh, you know, I saw that.
That is
What's
targeted
up
harassment.
with that? I don't know. Ray is.
She
I don't know if
really
you guys
doesn't
wanna
like.
talk about it or not.
Wait, what?
I don't know if you guys want to talk about that situation or not.
Oh no, we kind of hit it at the top of the hour, and we agreed we wouldn't get too deep into it.
No,
No problem.
I think that it's not worth it. Like, my opinions don't change, but it's just not. It's not worth talking about.
Yeah.
If that's a concession people want, I guess there you go. I guess. But you know.
And I mean, at that point, if they want to continue it, that's on them. They can't like pull this thing where, well, you didn't change your mind, so it's not good enough. It's like,
No.
well, you're not going to change my mind. You're
No.
definitely not going to change my mind harassing me, for one. If anything, I'm going to dig my heels in to spite you.
Mm-hmm.
But like, sometimes it's just better to let it go and take the L. I'm fine letting it go and taking the L.
Yeah. No,
It doesn't bother me any.
I'll take the
Twitter,
element.
I said this before to Akko. Twitter isn't real people.
No. Maybe that's mean to say. She just deleted the tweet. Ray! Ray, come on! Girl, grow a backbone, alright? If you want to
She
harass
didn't.
people, how about you actually have a backbone for it? I saw
She
the
did delete the tweet.
Okay,
Why?
Ray, you cannot.
Look,
Can't
Ray,
do
after the
that.
Ray, look, after the stream,
Oh my
if you
gosh.
want, I personally will go in separate from the podcast crew, separate from everybody else. I will personally come and talk to you and whoever else you want about anything. It genuinely doesn't bother me.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not. Why? I don't care. Like I don't care if people if you keep that up there because it just shows like what kind of person you are. Somebody.
Now, Philo, let's not be insulting people's weights and
Yeah,
stuff.
don't insult people. Like legitimately. All right. All right. Sometimes I throw retard around just for fun, but don't do that. All right. Come on, Ray. Like legitimately, Ray, I really wanted to think better of you, and this is unironically, I wanted to think better of you as somebody, and that's part of the reason why I invited you on the podcast. Against the better judgment of my other two podcast hosts, I invited you on here because I thought that maybe I could talk to you and maybe we could discuss things. I don't understand this. If you're going to make a point, stick to it. Stick to it. Do not.
Don't get too deep into it. You're letting her drag you into it.
I know. But stick to it. If you can't stick to what you're saying, where's your principle? Okay? Where's your principle?
And the only other thing I will say about this, because people are asking, I have no problem admitting that I'm the one that's kind of removing a lot of people that are just coming in and being insulting. Is completely within our right to remove people.
Yes, it is.
Here's the thing, and I think a lot of people don't understand this because somebody said like, "Where's your backbone?" It's not the fact that like you don't want to talk to people. I've actually never agreed with the idea that if somebody blocks you, that means you won. Because what a block means is that on some level you just got so fucking annoying that nobody wanted to deal with you anymore. And maybe they're right to be annoyed by you, maybe they're not right to be annoyed by you. But literally all that says is that they were super annoyed by you to the point they didn't want to see you anymore. So I've always been a big proponent of blocking. I think you should kind of manage your platform as you see fit. However, my opinion on that has changed a little bit because Twitter changed their metrics to where now if you block people, it actually hurts your reach and it hurts their reach for some reason. I don't know why they did that. It's such a stupid decision. But yeah, I'm a big believer in blocking people. And especially because this is, like, our show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not owed a platform here. I'm sorry. That's just how that is. But yeah, that's it.
No.
Also, yes, I did tell them to join Akko. If you want to tell Mimi that.
Yeah.
I specifically told them to join and then message me, which I'm fine messaging them.
Okay. No, yeah, it's...
Chat, if you want to complain to anybody about the Twitter goings-on, complain to me. That's fine.
Yes. And I will say, I have a policy...
My problem is you all won't leave other people alone.
Yes. My problem right now is I don't delete things ever. I still haven't. Technically, I still haven't. Mizu is the one who runs the channel or the account, by the way. Oh, well, not run the account. Excuse me. Let me rephrase. We all run the account, but we let Mizu write up the tweets, and we all agree to them. We're only deleting... The only reason why we're deleting these is just because, like... It's Twitter.
It is a shit show.
It is a shit show. Like, legit. And again, I will admit, we were hot and fiery. I agree. We were hot and fiery. That is the only concession I'll give. But, I don't know, I'll apologize for being too autistic or being too stupid, but that's about it. And yeah.
You and Cubby talk for a minute. I'm gonna do some tippy taps.
All right.
Give me 5 seconds.
All right. But
I was just about to say, how long is it gonna be until I'm on the VTuber blacklist Twitter page?
I don't know.
As far as I'm aware, and I do have the opinion that I'm not a huge fan of the VTuber blacklist page. Typically, you only end up on there if you've diddled a kid.
Typically.
I saw some. I was just looking at their page. Some quote-unquote racists are on there.
Yeah, there are a couple people I don't believe belong on there, and there are a couple people who are just spazzy enough that they probably belong on there, even if the individual things they've done isn't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna comment on like everything they've done, but there's somebody on there who's called like what, Draco something?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There's Draco something on there. I don't know everything they've done, so don't quote me on this, but a majority of what I've seen is just them being really annoying with people in DMs. But the thing is, it's constant. Like, it's not just they sent in one annoying DM to somebody. It's like they made 50 accounts to repeatedly send annoying DMs to one person. So, like, yeah, it's just one annoying DM. But that's really it. He does it so much and so widely that he kind of deserves a place on there.
Mm-hmm. I know nothing about those people.
Hearing about him.
I know nothing about those people.
What do we?
Anyways, back to my silence for just a second.
Yeah, I think that and obviously this I'm speaking this to dead air, you know, but principled people that actually want the truth are going to seek out the truth. I have always been a big believer in seeking out the truth before making my opinions. I thought the same when I first became friends with Mizu and people told me how horrible Mizu was, and I think the same today. All right, I am a purveyor of seeking the truth. If you are not for seeking the truth, and I legit mean the truth, I can't help you. You've already made your predisposition, and you'll believe whatever you want. I can't really convince you on that, but I don't know. I don't know.
And this also goes for the saying of like, this is how I am. If let's say you say like someone's a bad person, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm gonna find out for myself. I'm not gonna base it off of what you're telling me. Mm-hmm. Just because you had a bad experience with somebody.
Yeah. I don't know. Because of how bad Twitter is, I am less likely to believe something. And I don't know if that's my fault or if that's just the reputation of how it goes. But I am a ask first and ask again and then believe it afterwards.
Yeah.
And so far, I don't feel like I've been that wrong. So far, I haven't been proven wrong.
That tells you a lot, then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't been proven wrong on this.
Okay, I return.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean, like we said, chat, kind of a slow week. If there's anything else you want addressed that's not related to today, feel free to throw it in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say we are glad you decided to pop in, Cub. It has been nice talking with you.
It has been,
Yeah,
yes.
no problem.
It has been.
You said you have a model coming soon. Do you know when it'll be ready, maybe?
Estimated times between like May or June.
May or June.
You gonna do a full debut, or?
I'm thinking about it. Haven't really like decided yet.
Mm-hmm.
Probably though.
You got all your other stuff ready, like the assets? Or are you gonna be a person that has like the game in like a big window with all the other stuff on it, or just the game takes up everything and you just have like little pieces around it?
The game takes up everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people have started to move to that. Like there was a time when the big layout or the overlay was like really popular with all the VTubers, but even HoloLive has started to kind of move away from that.
Oh, from
well,
being...
I feel like when you have all that stuff on your screen, it eats up your CPU too on OBS.
It might.
Too much. It was for me. I was just like, I'll just do the game and then my model and then like the chat box or whatever and just call it a day.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's a fair perspective.
That's fair. Yeah. If you want thoughts and opinions on it, but I can definitely give you some, but that's definitely a good way to start.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I might transition to have like a whole like overlay stuff, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think maybe it depends on like what game you're playing, right?
Yeah.
Because I think FPSs you can't really do that. There's just too much going on, you know? Way too much shit all over the screen.
Yeah.
But it's definitely probably fine with like slower games, like maybe Pokemon. I know there's a really popular thing when people play Pokemon or monster catcher games that they'll have like what monsters they've caught up in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really think of like any other situations. Maybe, I think good overlays, maybe if you're emulating a DS game or like old console games to have the emulator look like the console. Those are kind of cool. I saw one dude who he plays like old PC games and his overlay is meant to look like a CRT monitor.
Oh, that's sick.
That is pretty cool.
And sometimes he'll do new games that are kind of like in an older style and he'll use like a CRT overlay on it. And I think it makes a good look. Usually the game in a few overlays and the model, even if it's a PAG. I think the overlays, like right now, they work for the podcast because it's a podcast and we kind of need one.
Mm-hmm.
Games, I have fallen out of love with overlays on games.
I definitely
at
think
least
it's
for myself.
I definitely think it's personal preference.
But if you guys are good, maybe we just call it a little early tonight, especially since we're missing Lumi. We are gonna bring Cubby in one day to play a game with us. We're not sure what yet. Maybe it's just Final Fantasy. Who knows?
Yep. I guess that makes
As
us...
far as I know, we are continuing games tomorrow, but not sure what we'll play.
Yeah.
And then we are continuing Wizard 101 on Tuesday, assuming nothing goes wrong.
I've never played that game. I've heard about it though.
Yeah, if you want to join, maybe you're free to.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'll check the game out.
It's really old.
It is. Is Lumi okay? Yeah, she's fine.
She's fine. She's just stressed.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Cubs permanent member.
Oh my gosh. Is there anything else that you want to like recap on, like, to our lovely followers who are both in chat and abroad?
Anyways, do you guys mind if I head out and sneak over to this Twitter space, I guess?
If you really want to, yeah.
Look, I have no problem showing up with them and dealing with their weirdness.
I kind of popped in for a little bit. That's when I saw the blacklist stuff. I'm like, alright, I'm out.
Not what? Nope, I can't. I'm blocked.
Oh, darn.
No getting in the space for me.
Oh, well.
Well, I
Tis
appreciate you guys
life.
letting me talk a little bit of it.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. You've been very nice and polite with us.
Yes,
I'm also like exhausted, so it's like almost 1 a.m.
That's no fun.
Yeah, do you have
I
work
know.
tomorrow?
No, I have to go to DMV to pass my CDL test.
Oh, CDL.
Very
Get
fun.
up. Yeah,
Very, very
'cause,
fun.
you know, I have a life outside of Twitter. You
Yes.
Is it the big truck CDL or the little truck CDL?
know? It's for buses, so Class B.
Oh, so like that's the middle one, right? I think
Yeah.
they have like a smaller one than that.
They do, but the general knowledge is cancer. It was so hard to pass.
Isn't
What, for
it?
the smaller one?
Yeah, because like the general knowledge, they include truckers in with the buses, which you don't even like learn about. So it's like why it's even there, I don't know. So like you have to study like a shit ton of stuff that's you're not even gonna learn if you're not doing like Class A or Class C. It was just stupid.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I'll pass it tomorrow and I'll probably just be here, I guess,
I
gaming
wish
or
you
whatever.
the best of luck
Thank you.
with your new bus driving career.
Yeah, I mean, I already have the career. I just need the actual like CDL to pretty much drive the bigger buses, like the city buses. Yeah.
That's pretty fun. It's pretty dang fun. You have anything you want to say before we leave, Mizu?
No, I think it's funny people came in here from Ray's Raid to say we were cowards for blocking them, but I'm preemptively blocked from her, so I can't join her.
I don't block anybody. I mean, again, like, if people want to get mad that we remove them from chat, here's the thing.
I'm just kidding. You can't come in and say we're cowards for blocking and then have me preemptively blocked.
Like, if you want to come in and have a civil conversation, I'm all down for it. I love civil conversations. Like, legitimately, I suck at debate, but I love to have conversations with people. All right? If you can't be civil, you're removed. All right? The people that were removed were not civil. And I'm sorry, but that's it. All right? Like, I don't know. I again, there's no convincing people that already have their minds up, so I'm not gonna try. But like, oh well. I just, I don't know.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Well, thanks for showing up, Cubby. We will likely have Lumi back next week. Hopefully we have her back tomorrow for whatever nonsense we're doing. Maybe
Indeed.
Helldivers, who knows?
Probably. We need to liberate a little bit.
Liberate space from the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to give to the chat, Cubby, about your stuff?
Fuck them. Fuck everyone that has an opinion on what I said.
Oh.
Great response, honestly. Because Twitter people aren't real people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Curse your time zones. I'm sorry, Badger.
I'm sorry, Badger. You have a good one though. But yeah, chat.
Time zones are only getting worse too. But night chat. Does Oka have anyone she wants to send everybody?
Oh, we don't have the ability to rage yet. We will soon. But we can't
fair.
rage yet.
You aren't streaming on Twitch?
No, we're not streaming on Twitch.
Oh, fair enough.
No.
It works.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, you have a good one. And again, just really quickly, chat. We appreciate you here tonight, and we're willing to do what we need to do just to serve people and talk to people. And this was an eye opener for me. This was an eye opener for me. A galvanizing eye opener, I guess, if you will. I don't know if you'll agree with that, Mizu, but it was a galvanizing eye opener for me. With that, chat, I didn't really have a good song picked out that I wanted to do, but we are gonna listen to a classic that I think is really good to send you off with. So you guys have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow for the next one. Bye. Oops, hold on.